Senator Rubio is one of the leading forces behind the Gang of Eight's immigration bill. He joins us. Nice to see you, Senator.
Nice to see you.
Well, I figure you must be doing something right in Washington. You got the left a little bit mad at you, got the right a little bit mad at you, got the president saying he agrees with some of what you do, but not all. So I guess this is truly I guess you define this as bipartisanship?
Well, look, we have a serious problem. I mean, even if we didn't have a single illegal immigrant in the United States, we'd still have to do immigration reform because our immigration system doesn't work. So all I'm trying to do is fix a problem, and that's what we're trying to get at here. So.
All right, it's not perfect for everybody, so I'm curious. Everybody has to give a little. What did you give on? What is it something that you wanted that's not in this bill?
Well, let's begin by just saying this. I mean, no one has a right to be in this country illegally. So the fact that we're dealing with the people that are here illegally now and creating a way for them to get a temporary work permit and pay a fine and all of that, that's a major concession. You don't have a legal right to be in this country illegally. We're dealing with this for two reasons. One, because we're a very pragmatic people and we get it and understand that it's in the best interest of our country to deal with this. And the other thing is we're dealing with it because we're compassionate people. But we don't have to do this. We're doing this because it's good for the country. So
what did you give up? What if you could have something a little bit more?
Well, that's it. I mean, look, well, I mean, I don't know about give up. I mean, just the fact that we are going to allow or create a process for people who have violated our immigration laws to stay in the country, that's a major concession. In return, however, what we expect is to modernize our legal immigration system, to have in place E-Verify and an entry-exit tracking system and $5.5 billion of border security in addition to what already is being spent. And so these are important things that I think we hope to be able to get accomplished. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Well, a big force on the right-hand side of the political spectrum is Senator Jim DeMint, former Senator Jim DeMint, who's now at the Heritage, who in 2007 was a U.S. Senator. He was largely one of the people responsible for derailing the immigration reform bill then. He does it as head of the Heritage now. He disagrees strongly with you on economic grounds. Yeah. He says that it would ultimately, your bill would take that the people, the illegal or unauthorized immigrants would ultimately take out more in federal benefits than they would pay in taxes. Is Senator DeMint right or wrong on that? Because one of you is right and one of you is wrong on that.
Yeah, right. Well, I have a tremendous respect for Jim DeMint, and you're absolutely right. His objection to this is the economic cost. So we have to make sure that there aren't economic costs. That's one of the reasons why in the bill that I've helped prepare, illegal immigrants, when they get legalized and get that permit to work, they don't qualify for any federal benefits at all, including Obamacare. Now, if there's ways to make that even better, we're open to it. And, you know, so we want to hear from Senator DeMint. We want to hear from Heritage. We want to hear from everybody about how to improve this. Obviously, what I think we've come up with is a starting point. I think a very good starting point, but I think we need to build on it. So certainly we don't want to see costs to the government either. That's why we put in specifically in the bill that people that are illegally here that get this permit do not qualify for any federal benefits, including Obamacare.
You know, it's sort of interesting with Senator DeMint, who was one of your very early supporters, and I know that you admire him a lot, is that he has some ideas that really need to sort of be worked out with you on immigration on the right-hand side of the political spectrum. But he's also, as I understand it, he can't really talk to you about policy because he's a former U.S. Senator, and there's a certain time period before he can get involved in policy, yet he has an enormous impact on the discussion. So it's sort of awkward. It'd be nice to bring him into the discussion to try to work things out. Yet you guys really can't.
You know, Heritage is very involved. Yeah, I mean, Heritage is still very involved, and we see what they write all the time. And, I mean, we still work with them on all kinds of other issues. This is just I think we share the same goal, which is to have a legal immigration system that works. I think we have some difference of opinion about how to get there. But ultimately, I mean, I think we agree on the goal. And so, look, this is a tough issue. This is not an issue you take on for political purposes, but we cannot leave in place what we have now. What we have now is de facto amnesty. It is chaos. It's terrible for the country.
Do you have a timetable of what we can expect when this is the next step on this?
You know, I don't understand when obviously I understand your question, but I don't understand the hurry. I mean, I think it's important to get this done right. This is a major undertaking. I mean, we're dealing with 11 million people, but we're also dealing with the future of immigration in this country. And we're dealing with an administration, I mean, that quite frankly has shown a reluctance to enforce the immigration law. Look, if you want to know the single biggest impediment to getting something done on immigration, it's that people do not have confidence or believe that the Obama administration or the federal government will enforce the law. And so we've got to really ensure that we build into this bill mechanisms that ensure that the law is enforced. And I think that's going to take some time.
What do you think about what the president said today? He agrees with some and disagrees with others. Do you know what he's talking about?
I don't, but I don't agree with a lot of what the president says about immigration reform. Look, I think the general outlines, everybody agrees. You know, we need to have a modernized legal immigration system. We have to enforce and secure the border and enforce the immigration laws and have E-Verify. You know, and we have to have some process to deal with the people that are here illegally. The devil, of course, is in the details. As you recall, the president and Janet Napolitano have said they don't want any triggers, that they don't want any enforcement to make the legalization contingent. I think they're wrong on that. This bill does that, and I think if we have a chance to add to that, we should.
Well, I much appreciate everyone sitting down and talking on this, because I know it's enormously complicated and enormously important. So I appreciate all the work that's being done by everybody on it. Senator, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Greta.